Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tulilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Uzalendo pia mshikamano viwe msingi wa umoja wetu, na tulinde uhuru na amani, mila zetu na desturi zetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tulilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Viwandani na hata mashambani, tufanye kazi sote kwa makini, tujitoe kwa hali na mali, tuijenge jumuiya bora. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Thank you very much. Let's sit down. The next phase is for Duncan to come and lead us with a word of prayer.
Thank you so much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming. I wanted us to bow down for a word of prayer. Father, Lord, we thank you. We thank you for this wonderful evening. We thank you for giving us the strength to be here. Lord, we pray that you may be with us as we listen. Open our understanding, open our ears to comprehend. Give us the love that we ought to have, and let us have the unity that we ought to have. Father, Lord, in this moment, we pray that your presence of peace may abide with us as Kenyans. Give us this true spirit of a nation that is love and unity. In this I pray in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Duncan. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are happy, we are honored. The most honored today, as Kenyan is in France. We have been waiting for this time for a long time. With us today is the Principal Secretary of Diaspora Affairs, Mrs. Roslyn Jogu. And also we have Chargé d'Affaires at the Embassy of Kenya in France, Mildred, with us, and the team from the embassy. They are seated on the other side, and all Kenyans who are here today. We also need to recognize the presence of Dr. Oshodo Shem from Kenya Diaspora Alliance, who has managed to come here and join us. And also I want to recognize the presence of the Kenyans in France Umbrella Association, led by President Lois, who is also with us today. Kenyans, the President of Students in France as well is here with us, and all other guests in the Middle East. Today, I want to welcome you on behalf of the Kenyans in France fraternity. I also won't forget to mention Kenya Commercial Bank. They are here with us. Kama hujafungua account, go behind us. There is a Kenya Commercial Bank. And without wasting much time, I want to welcome Chargé d'Affaires of Kenyans in France, of the Embassy of Kenya in France, Mildred, to give opening remarks. Welcome, Mildred.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Madam P.S., Rosalyn Jobu, the chairman of the Kenya Diaspora Alliance, Dr. Shem Ochodo, the president of Kifua, Lois Matibo, the student leader, Serafina San, our elder Weldon. I think I can safely say you're one of our elders, but you're our patron from the Kenya Diaspora Alliance. Our head of chancellery, Mr. Simon Mururi, all protocols observed. So it's my honor to welcome all of you here this evening and to welcome our special guest of honor today, P.S. Rosalyn Jobu, who is also our hostess, so she's playing a dual role, and we appreciate that very much. We are grateful for the journey we've had with the diaspora here in France. You have been our cornerstone, so to speak, very cooperative. You always turn up when we call, and you have invited us also to the different cities here in France. As you know, for the first time, we have a Department of Diaspora, a State Department for Diaspora Affairs, and they have a program where the interests and the welfare of the diaspora are being mainstreamed into the policy of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So they have a lot of good plans for you, but I will not elaborate much on that because luckily we have our PS here with us, and we are honored because actually I think we're the very first group that she has spent much journey with. So I pray that we will continue this journey of cooperation and growing together. You have taught us a lot also, so we know there's a lot we need to do to facilitate you in your endeavors and to just work together to build Kenya together and grow. So I thank you very much for honoring our invitation at very short notice, and I wish you all an enjoyable evening. So mine is just to say karibuni na asanteni sana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mildred. Allow me also to recognize the presence of our guests from the US. Clap for them. Karibuni. Lakini ni wa Kenya pia. Thank you very much. Next, we are going to have a Kenya Commercial Bank presentation. Before that, in our midst, we have the permanent representative of UNESCO, Professor, who has joined us now, Clap for our Professor Bosire. Karibu sana. So before the professor comes and gives some remarks, I want to invite the Kenya Commercial Bank to do some short presentation. Because of time, we are going to have a short presentation from Kenya Commercial Bank, and then we have our Professor Bosire giving some remarks. Welcome, Kenya Commercial Bank. Sisi wote ni shujaa, mashujaa. Leo ni Mashujaa Day, and I wish all of you a happy Mashujaa Day.
Thank you. Happy Mashujaa Day. My name is Rose Nchalo. It's indeed a great honor and a privilege to be with you today celebrating this. I was just whispering to my colleagues that when we're in Kenya, we don't celebrate, and we don't see the importance of this, but when you're abroad, you feel there's something. In fact, when I heard the national anthem, it was just so nice. So we are committing that we'll honor these events more when you're back home. So I didn't travel from Nairobi, just one person. We have two other colleagues, and I'll allow them to rush to the front here, so that we will also know, and they introduce themselves. We had a presentation, but will not take so much of your time, because I know today is a great day, and we'll be engaging with the Kenyan community in the next couple of days. So,
Assalamu alaikum. So my name is Regan, actually Ronald Regan. I work for KCB. I know our friends from US, you are surprised, but I also look like them anyway. So I'm a branch manager at KCB Moroni. So feel welcome. You have our contacts. If you come anywhere, when you have to ask anything about banking, please just reach out on us direct, even through WhatsApp, to be able to sort out your issues. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mona Masite. I work in the Diaspora Banking Unit with Roslyn, and thank you so much for having us here. Happy Mashujaa Day. Enjoy yourself. And anytime you think investments back home, think KCB. We are here to assist you. Asante.
thank you. So I'm also one of the managers in the Diaspora Banking Department. KCB is a bank that has been in existence for over 120 years. So the assurance is that as you're investing your hard-earned cash back home, you're investing with a safe and secure partner. And we've also invested in very robust online banking systems. I was just discussing with a client that you're able to make your payments. Say if you have a rental income and you're receiving your rent, you're able to see which tenants have made a payment to your account. You're also able to make payments. Say if you want to buy a piece of property, you're able to log into your account right at the comfort of your home or office, and you're able to do that. We have the online banking platform, and it's on the we have an app also. So because today I said is a very important day, we had these many slides, so I really tried to summarize. And when you want to buy a property back home, we're able to appraise you based on your income that you earn here. We're able to we're able to offer you mortgage solutions. And currently we're also offering you a single digit financing. So you can get a mortgage from KCB at 9% per annum. You can also factor if you have rental income back home, that can also be part of your repayment ability. We can also bank for you as a chama, as an individual, and I know we have children who want to get CAB accounts through KCB. All that is possible. We also do offer insurance solutions. We have a KCB bank assurance intermediary. So if you have a property back home, you have motor vehicles that you need insured, please talk to us. We are a one-stop shop. If you have an SME, we are the bank to go to in terms of MSME financing. A lot of Kenyan diaspora we've seen have also ventured into MSME, so this is the bank to go to. And we have very good products. You can get an account from KCB. You can also get your SME financed. Also, we can also look at other investment opportunities through KCB. We have our KCB investment arm. So if you wish to invest in government securities, this is the bank to talk to. So because I don't want to take so much of your time, I'll request Noah to read the address for where we'll be tomorrow. We'll be able to engage you on a one-on-one basis. I'm still learning how to pronounce the addresses in French. Next time I'll be able to give the addresses correctly. So Noah, if you'll be kind enough to share the address.
Yeah, it's Ibis Paris Eiffel Cambron. And you can take metro, I don't know which metro, but the stop is Cambron. Those who know metros.
Metro 6.
Metro 6, yeah. So it's Ibis Paris Eiffel Cambron. The stop Cambron, Metro 6.
And we'll be there from 10 a.m. up to 6 p.m. So please make a point of coming over to have a discussion with us. We'll offer you the investment solutions. You get very high yielding accounts through KCB. And for sure, KCB, we're very committed to the diaspora. And that's why we've sent a whole team of 3 people to come in and engage the Kenyans in Paris. We're also traveling to Berlin, again, to do similar engagements. We want to ensure that you're still connected back home so that we're not focusing on just the local people back in Kenya. So we are committed. We'll ensure that you succeed in your financial aspirations as a bank. So asanteni sana, happy Mashujaa Day, and I hope to have many more of these. So thank you so much. Be blessed.
As you can see, we have the Kenyan branch here, and we need to have many more branches because shilingi ikiteremka huko wanakuja wana balance na euros. So we need more branches to come, and so that they can work with us, and we can also develop our country back home. Now we have Professor Richard Osire. We are lucky here. We have 2 ambassadors. In France, we have 2 ambassadors, and we are the most luckiest. UNESCO, the ambassador, the permanent representative, the Kenyan mission in UNESCO, and the Kenyan embassy, we also have the ambassador. So Professor Richard Bosir, for those who doesn't know, he was a lecturer in Nairobi. And most of the students here actually identified themselves with him. So when he came, there were so many students who actually want to have time with him. And as much as he's the ambassador, representative, permanent representative in UNESCO, he has a large number of students in France. And without taking much time, I want to welcome Professor Richard Bosire to come and give his remarks. Welcome, Ambassador.
Thank you for that exaggerated welcome. Habari zenu nyote. Madam PS, welcome to Paris. Madam PS has worked so hard, and you can see her vision for diaspora. And I usually watch and follow what Madam PS does. And she's very, very much passionate about you, about us. I'm part of the diaspora. I would like to say a few words because I did not prepare a speech. What you're doing as diaspora actually strongly augments what we do as diplomats in France. In fact, your vision about uniting, supporting the cultural aspects that you do, the development aspects that you engage in, or we engage in, because I'm part of the diaspora, Kenyan diaspora in France, is very critical to our country's development. And our government strongly supports what you do, and we expect to synergize between the diaspora and the government to be able to deliver for our people. I know that you could be having so many issues regarding diaspora, and again, even with the bank. I want to tell the KCB that I opened an account, a diaspora account with KCB, foreign currency account, euro account with KCB, not any other bank, because I believe KCB provides the best product in that direction. And as a diaspora, our expectations are that the bank also gives us good product, particularly what I've studied over time and what AU has advocated for diaspora, especially on swift transfers and at a lower costs. So if KCB could be kind enough, they could reduce money transfer costs for diaspora people, especially those in France. So that we're able, you don't charge us, especially when you transfer money from my KCB account to my, for example, to my M-Pesa account. No charge. Because the aim also of the government as well as the AU at the multilateral level is to ensure that the cost of transfer reduced so that we're able to transfer much more money to our country, which supports our development. I would like to thank those from the United States. I have a connection with the US. I was diaspora in the US in some years back, maybe some people don't know. I studied in the United States in a very famous and popular, nice small state called Delaware, the home of the current president, an alumnus of the University of Jill Biden and Biden himself. So you can see I have really strong attachment to the United States. I want to say this, that is on the light touch, thank you, that we should all unite out here as diaspora, stay together, strengthen our organizations, and again, always have a connection with home. Home is best to invest. I'm not intending to invest anywhere else other than in my mother country. And I urge you also to do the same. I know you are doing that. Let us continue to work on that. And let us continue being together, unite everyone else, let everyone else come in, focused on the main thing, to be together, to be able to promote our country and develop our country. Thank you very much. I wish to see my students. How many who are my students? I was told there are many here. I hope. Oh yes, I have one there. And was it your wife or where is she? So I have some former students, and whenever I go, I usually find students. You know, teaching is a very noble profession. Those of you who don't like teaching, you better try it.
Thank you, sir. So, Madam PS, in our community in Kenyans in France, we have so many associations that builds and strengthens us as a community. And the biggest, the Umbrella Association, which is the Kenyans in France Umbrella Association, is the umbrella of all the associations. But we have so many associations, like students, which has the largest population of the diasporans here, because there are so many students who are coming. When we talk about students, we also talk about the language assistance program, and we talk about also the au pair, who comes after some time and then they transit to being students. So they have the biggest community in France. So I would like just quickly to recognize the presence of all the heads of the associations here. To stand, the presidents we have, including KFBC, not forgetting the KFBC president in our midst. I would like them to come in front quickly before we move to the next phase. All of you, the presidents, make it quick, please. Kifaransa, Kifua, KSAF, KFBC. Mdosi wenu wako hapa leo, lazima waone. Nianze. So because we are going to have the president of Kifua speaking and the KSAF, the president of students speaking, I was just going to have them quickly introduce themselves, and then we have the president of Kifua speaking.
Habari zenyu. Jina langu ni Mutega Ivia, and I am here representing I am the Secretary General for La Maison Kenyan, and I am here representing my president, Susan Kibongo.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Sarafina Sang, and I'm here representing the Student Association here in France.
Hi everyone, my name is Monica Jaga and I'm here because I'm the president of the Peer Support Brigade. Not everyone know about it because it's too new. We have 1 year now and we deal with the event of death in the families of our Kenyans, all Kenyans living in France. And I want you, if you want to know about more about the Peer Support Brigade, just get contact with me and I'll be happy to welcome you in the Peer Support Brigade. Thank you very much.
Barizeli. My name is Veronica Kariuki. I am one of the founders and president of the Kenya France Business Club.
Thank you very much. You can sit down. Madam PS, we have about 16 or 17 strong associations in France as we speak. So there are some other associations in different regional places. And this today, the people you have seen are the leaders of different associations who are represented here with us. So without wasting much time, I want to invite the students' president to give a speech on behalf of students. And then we go to the president of Diaspora.
Good evening, everyone. As I earlier presented myself, I'm Sarafina Sang, and I'm the president of the Kenya Students in France Association. I prepared a speech, can't be spontaneous. I'm going to share a bit about our association. It was founded around 4 years ago, and we boast of the largest number of Kenyans in France, just like many of you who started as students and transitioned into other phases. And the aim of our association is to help students with integration here in France and to address daily problems from housing issues that has been a main concern, providing a community and peer support, and with partnership with our associations here, the embassy and other partners, we've been able to do so much and will continue to do more. And just a moment. So today I would like to take this opportunity to express our eagerness to continue working with our embassy to address student issues. There are so many things that we haven't been able to do up to now, and I feel like with the help of our embassy and all the other partners, we'll be able to do so many things. A few things that students raised when I told them that I was coming here to say something, and we are going to have our principal secretary here. Then they told me to make some requests, and some of those requests were the establishment of student hotline at our embassy here. Many a times our students arrive here in France, they do not know anyone, they have no contact, they have issues, some end up sleeping on the streets, or they are taken in by well-wishers. And as an association, sometimes we do not have the capacity to be able to resolve these issues. And if students could have a reference point, or if we had an attaché, a student attaché, for example, at our embassy, who could address student issues specifically, then I believe that most of these issues can be handled in a timely fashion. When it comes to opportunities for students, we would like to ask that our our government work hand in hand and partner with French companies here in France and even those that are in Kenya to facilitate the transition of students from when they finish their studies here to when they want to get into the job market. And most of the time, we find that students will really struggle to find internships or jobs. And if there are such partnerships in place, it's going to make things very easy for us in the long run. And with those few remarks, I would like to thank you all. And I would like to say that it's not very easy to leave everything that you know to start over in a new country. So you're the real heroes. So happy Mashuja.
Thank you very much, Shuja, Sarafina. Students, as I said, are the largest community, and we continue to have many students coming to France. Without wasting much time, Madam PS, allow me to welcome the President of Kenyans in France Umbrella Association, Madam Lois. Come and give
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bonsoir, messieurs, dames. So please allow me, before I give my speech, to allow La Maison Kenyane de Paris to have a little word. Maison Kenyane de Paris.
Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Like I said, my name is Motege Ivia, and I am here to represent my president, Susan Gidongo. We are La Maison Kenyane. We've been in communication with a lot of the associations here, and what we shall be doing come the Olympics 2024 in Paris is that we shall be mobilizing Kenyans, we shall be rallying Kenyans to work together to represent our culture here and to be able to celebrate our shujas, because it's without any questions that from Kenyans, we are always making shujas, aren't we? Always making shujas, always making heroes, and we shall be rallying all of us together to be able to do that. So we're looking forward to that, and it's an honor to be able to share in this day with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so my name is Lois Mativo, so please allow me to read my speech so that I don't forget anything. So good evening, esteemed guests, Honorable PS Rosalind Njogu, Chargé d'Affaires Mildred Mingala of the Kenya Embassy, Mr. Bosire of UNESCO here in Paris, and the distinguished guests, fellow Kenyans in France, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Bonsoir tout le monde. So tonight, I'm truly honored to stand before you and extend a warm welcome to Paris. So I'm Lois Mativo, proudly serving as the president of KIFUA, which stands for Kenyans in France Umbrella Association in France. So before I move on, I'm going to call upon the members of my office. I don't work alone. We are 8 of us in the team. So I'm going to allow, please come and join me, the members of KIFUA, our executive team, Mr. Noah, Miss Dorothy, Miss Esther. We work as a team. There are 8 of us in the office. So this is Mr. Noah Muli, our vice president. Yeah, karibu sana. We have our secretary general, Miss Sophia Lavergne. She lives in Normandy. She was unable to come, but this is the Vice Secretary General, Esther Ndungu. We have the Treasurer of KIFUA, Dorothy Karimi, Karibu. We have the Vice Treasurer of KIFUA, Joyce Gatoti. She lives in Marseille. She was not able to come. And then we have 2 non-executive members, Lady Aquinite Ochieng, who lives in Lyon. And we also have Jane Beardsley, who lives in the south as well. She lives in near Marseille, right? Yeah, so Avignon, Avignon. So yeah, we are a team of 8 people. So I'm going to be the porte-parole. I'm going to speak on behalf of the association. So if it's okay, please keep me company for a few minutes. Yeah, Kifua is the, and Mr. Weldon was the ex-president. We got into office this year. Yeah. So Kifua is the overarching body that unites various Kenyan associations in France, each with its distinct mission and vision. These encompass regional associations, student associations, business networks that were represented, religious groups as well, sports clubs, women's clubs, men's organizations, and many more. Within the Kifua executive team, I have already presented the people that are with me. So, so we are very honored to be in front of you today. We are Kenyan residents in France. We feel deeply privileged to have your presence, Honorable PS. France has graciously become our second home, and we are a diverse blend of students, professionals, expatriates working in the Kenyan Embassy and UNESCO, as well as those who have chosen to establish their lives in France. We express our profound gratitude for the hospitality that France has extended us. We are here, as law-abiding citizens, and we are happy to call France our second home. So at this juncture, I would like to draw attention to some of the challenges we encounter while residing in France, as Kenyans in France. First and foremost, please allow me to address this. I'm just the porte-parole, I'm the messenger. I collected some information from, people who live in France. So first and foremost, we earnestly seek an expansion of consular services offered by our embassy. While we can currently obtain passports, birth certificates, and other documents, we beseech the government of Kenya to empower our Paris embassy to provide additional consular services to Kenyans living in France, including the issuance of IDs and the ability to register for voting and casting our votes in Paris. During the previous elections, registered voters had to undertake a journey to Berlin, incurring significant time and expenses that we unfortunately couldn't always afford, despite our strong desire to participate in the democratic process. We eagerly anticipate having regular mobile consular services and enhancing the capacity of our embassy, who serve us really diligently and very well. We appreciate all the embassy officials present here tonight in France. Secondly, we kindly implore the government to consider the role of the next of kin when Kenyans in the diaspora open bank accounts and invest in property in Kenya. Given the substantial contributions we make to our motherland, we wish to avoid any complications in the event of our passing on, unfortunately. Designating the next of kin as the automatic inheritor can really help prevent uncertainties during this sensitive and delicate time. Thirdly, we have observed heart-wrenching incidents where our parents and professionals have encountered visa denials when they seek to visit us in France. When we extend invitations to our family, the French City Hall here in France requests justification documents to demonstrate our ability to accommodate and support our guests. Regrettably, visa denials create unfair and distressing situations for our parents and even for professionals looking to engage in business and cultural exchanges in France. Just yesterday, the KFBC, that was represented here by Ms. Veronica, organized a business event, and unfortunately, some key Kenyan professionals were denied visas. We earnestly hope that you kindly can communicate these concerns to the appropriate authorities. Personally, I lived in Saudi Arabia during a time when tourist visas did not exist, but parents could come and visit us. And we hope that the French Embassy in Kenya reconsiders granting visas to our dear parents, family members, and even professionals. Lastly, while we hold our homeland close to our hearts, as Ambassador Bosire said, we really love our homes. Mwachamila ni mtumwa, hatujaacha mila, sisi sio watumwa. So while we hold our homeland close to our hearts, we must express our hope to fair taxation. Given that we already pay taxes in France because we are law-abiding citizens, imposing further taxes in Kenya would be inequitable. It's worth noting that we also contribute to our homeland by supporting our family and friends, offering, and family and friends, we kindly request a reconsideration of our taxation burden. So I extend my sincere gratitude for your attention, and I trust that you will have an enjoyable stay in this exquisite city and visit La Tour Eiffel, Champs-Élysées, Le Louvre, Notre Dame. Honorable Roselyne Jogu, I also wish to convey our appreciation to the event organizers and our sponsors, KCB, and I wish you all a very good and pleasant evening. Bonsoir, messieurs, dames, je vous remercie tous. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President, Ms. Mativo, Reverend Shuja. Madam P.S. Rosalind Job, as you can see, our communities here are anchored by the associations that we have. I know that this is the secret that you have mastered in a very short time, because I think you have so many connections now with different associations that I can say I give you an A+ with that. But one thing that we need to work closely, and maybe the biggest challenge, because this is a new office, is to synchronize, to be able to work together with the embassy and the associations and your office. I think that's where there's still a challenge. Because I would say the Diaspora Affairs Office and the embassy, maybe you need to have a diaspora desk. I don't know if you will have a budget for that in the embassy, or if you have a staff in the embassy that is trained to be pro-diaspora from the diplomatic corps, that will complete your A in what you are doing. I honestly think that you are doing a great job with associations, as I said. There's still a challenge in working, synchronizing the associations, your office, and the embassy. Madam P.S. Rosalind, we want to thank you. I personally have been pushing you to come to this place. Yeah, because I felt like we were neglected sometimes. And we know we have the most beautiful place in the world, the City of Love. You see people from the US. They come here. They are dressed in red. So we will give them what they need. Amadiaje, Paris is here for you. And we want to welcome you. Please come again and again. You have to come and stay longer. You have seen that we have so many plans even for Maison Kenya. They are planning for the Olympics next year. And everything that's going on here. And we want to thank you for your time here and your team. Mr. Etienne, who is always active. He was the one organizing everything. I thought he was actually a diasporian. Yeah, he's the one who came and organized everything here. Thank you, sir, for your work. And Madam Rosalind and the guests here today, and the diplomatic staff. Without wasting my time, I want to recognize Dr. Shem Ashwado. He's our father in diaspora. The Kenya Diaspora Alliance. He's our father. Everyone knows what he's done, and we want to welcome him to say something. And mention about wisdom.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. You know, they say once a teacher, always a teacher. Honorable PS, Child Affairs, Ambassador and good friend and former colleague, Professor Busire, Minister Simon, leaders, diaspora leaders in the house. There are many things I would have talked about, but in the interest of time and the privilege for this opportunity, allow me to recognize the sponsors. We work very closely back home and elsewhere, and the diverse diasporas. Yesterday at the Kenya-France Business Council's meeting, we had diasporas from UK participating, from Germany. I'm glad the US. There was mention of the first state. Professor, you talked of the first state, Delaware. I have a lot of passion to see Kenyans of all shades come together. I firmly believe that diaspora is the gold mine. together with the technology, we can drive Africa forward. And you're already doing it. The diaspora is bringing $100 billion into Africa, or take $100 billion, or billion euros, if you may, into Africa. For Kenya, it's already $500 billion shillings. I would have asked about the things that have already been asked, Madam President Kifua. You talked about the visa issues, the representation rights. The diaspora want to be at the policy decision-making level of government, and some of that's already happening, both at national and county government and more. But today, Madam PS, allow me just to talk briefly about the WIDO project, which is the reason why we're in Paris, and tomorrow we are heading to Brussels. We're very pleasantly surprised to meet Madam PS here. It's a very good coincidence. WIDO is a grant, business grant by the German government, but covering diasporas in 9 EU countries, including France. You find a partner, a relative, an associate back home. You put in nikama shilingi ya shilingi kwa shilingi that Governor Kabogo tried. We want to encourage you. We're very keen to work with government to double the $500 billion to $1 trillion shillings. You know, lots of diasporas, you talk to them, the first thing they tell you, don't talk to me about investment in Kenya, because they think they're going to be fleeced. As Kenya Diaspora Alliance, our major goal for the next 2 years is to restore trust. One way to do that is by working with the WIDO project. They'll handhold and they'll train your kith and kin back home to make sure that whatever you put back home is secure as a business grant. Of course, almost akin to the government Hustler Fund, this specifically for business grant, but they complement each other. So colleagues, there's lots that can be done together. Think of WIDO, we have 3 what we call WIDO focal points. Veronica, there is McKenna here, and there's Rosa Ungeso, formerly part of the mission also in Paris. So without much ado, we are so delighted. Colleagues, Kenya is ready for business. Africa, maybe on behalf of the Africa Diaspora Alliance as co-president, Africa is ready for business, and this is the time. Asanteni sana, happy Mashujaa Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Very Shujaa, the Kenya Diaspora Alliance chairperson. And Madam PS, it's your time now to speak to us, to tell us, to give us all the goodies that the president have given you to bring to us. Naona amepatia watu afya nyumbani. I hope kuna afya diaspora or something close to it. So it's your time, Your Excellency, to speak to the Kenya diaspora.
Habari zenu wa Kenya. Habari zenu. Good evening. It's really a pleasure to be here with you. This is a trip that we have planned for some time that has taken a few cancellations, and until some of you started sending me messages saying, even those of us in Paris are your children. So I have come. I'm not pointing fingers. But I'm grateful to be here in the city of love. I'm excited. Thank you for having us. Thank you for coming out. And happy Mashujaa Day to you. All right, so Ambassador Professor Bosire, Chargé Mildred Mingala, members of the mission here in Paris, Glenn Zetiang, Assistant Director and my Chief of Staff, and leadership of the diaspora, na Wakenya wenzangu, habari zenu, hamjamboni, hamjamboni. I'm honored to be here in Paris today to meet all of you, especially today as we celebrate Mashujaa Day. This is the very first Mashujaa Day since the formation of the State Department for Diaspora Affairs. That also means this is the very first time the State Department is celebrating Mashujaa Day with our diaspora Mashujaa. I think that is something that we should be clapping for. It's the first Mashujaa Day party I have thrown. and I'm happy for that. I want to celebrate with you this year's Mashujaa Day, whose theme, as announced by the President, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, is universal health care. Afya yetu jukumu letu. Yesterday, the President signed 4 bills into law and entrenched universal health within Kenya, and we are looking forward to good things. Colleagues and friends, since the inception of the State Department for Diaspora Affairs, in the ministry that used to be the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, now your ministry and the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, we continue to engage with you, the diaspora, wherever we travel. Or let me put that in a different way. We travel specifically to engage with you, not just to engage, to speak to you about the mandate for the State Department of Diaspora Affairs, which is here, and I'm glad I won't have to repeat it. But really, you can think of the work that we do as 4 things. We protect, we engage, we empower, and we prosper diaspora. The overarching objective of these engagements really is to set up systems and structures that help government to do that work of protection, engaging, empowering, and prospering the diaspora, and mainstreaming you into the process of nation building throughout our shared future. As you are seated here, I understand that you represent a broad demographic of about 5,000 Kenyans who live and work in France and who call France home, and we appreciate all you do here. Serafina, the student leader, was clear to say that diasporians are made of something special. They are people who live the comforts of home. They are people who live what is familiar, what they are used to, and they go out as explorers to new lands. So, nyinyi ni mashujaa, and I appreciate that. I've heard good things about this group. I've heard about your investments. I've heard about the professionals that you are in key places. I've heard about the students who are excelling, and so on. All of you collectively working and building not just this your new home, but Kenya back home. Asanteni sana. As with every community, of course, there are challenges that you're facing. I could have told you the challenges that you have presented to me. In fact, I had them written down. So I was coming first to tell you that I know that you are looking for expanded consular services, and I came with some good news. Firstly, that next week, I believe from the 29th, we are launching mobile consular services here in France. There will be, yes, thank you. You will be able to apply for your passports, for your renewed passports, IDs, birth certificates, and so on. So please, if you have had children here and you haven't yet applied for their birth certificates, I am imploring you to kindly get that done. That you can actually do online immediately, but please bring them in for biometrics for us to be able to get our children documents and so on. And please come in for your IDs and that kind of thing. So, yes, that is done, mobile consular services. I will raise it with my brother, Ambassador P.S. Bitok, who is in charge of immigration and citizen services, to see if we can expand Paris into an ID center. I cannot promise, but I will ask. I also, in my speech here, had noted that as far as your remittances are concerned, you are concerned about the high cost of remittances. KCB, I'm very glad you're here. Roslyn and your team, thank you very much for coming. Now I can put pressure on you in front of your clients. We do need the cost of remittances to come down. It has to be cheaper for people to send money home, especially on your platforms. Tumekubaliana watu wa KCB? Aya, sawa sawa. Thank you very much, Roslyn, for that. But this is a campaign that we are undertaking with stakeholders throughout this space back home. A part of our job is to get those remittances to come down. The SDGs say that the reduction of remittance costs to below 3%. And this is what we are pursuing. But we also want a little bit to change the mix of your remittances. We know that a big part of the reason you are here is actually to work and support yourself and support family, whether here or back home. And therefore the basket of your remittances is heavily for what? For domestic use, to meet the needs, to pay school fees, sometimes to pay rent for people back home, to pay medical bills, burials, and this kind of thing. And we want you to keep doing those things. Those are the things that I think every good citizen does. And that is an extremely African thing to do. And I applaud you for doing that, because everybody has their responsibilities. But we want you to also invest back home much, much more for you. Partly why KCB is here, and KCB, I'm very grateful for your collaboration and your cooperation with co-hosting this event with us, but also for continuing to support the diaspora for many, many years. You might know that last month, together with CBK, we launched the DAO CSD, which is now available as an app, as well as on web, on your, wherever it is that you access the internet, so probably your phone or your laptop or whatever. The DAO CSD is the Central Bank of Kenya. DAO is D-H-O-W, like a little boat. I don't think the one we are on is a DAO. The DAOs are really little, like the kind the old explorers used to use when they're going to find new places. So the DAO CSD is a platform owned and operated by the Central Bank of Kenya that allows you to buy and sell your government treasury bills and bonds without having to use any intermediaries. In the past, you had to go to the central bank, into the building, get forms, fill them in, take them to your bank, take them back. It was a 13-step, very manual process that most people could not be bothered to get through, okay? But now, you can download the app, and within 30 minutes, you can be buying and selling your government paper. This is expected to be revolutionary for diasporians. Within the month and a half that they have been operating, we have noticed that most of the traffic is coming from the diaspora. This is your product. We pushed CBK for it, and I'm glad to see that they have set it up. So please, diasporians, you will download that thing, Cindy. And then you can invest directly without having to send money home to your, whoever it is that you have sent money home through, and that money has become a rumor. Okay. One of the other things that we know is a concern is distress as far as Kenyans who are in conflict with the law are concerned, and these are things that we are working on to structure our interventions better and to help Kenyans to understand particularly the laws of the places where they are. I've noted some of the ones that you raised as well, the denial of visas, and Ambassador was also whispering it to me. We will raise it with the embassy in Nairobi as well. And I've also noted the concerns about voting and asking that this be considered a polling station. And again, we will raise this with the IEBC so that we can see how far we can push that, because we still have some time. I wanted to say this, and I want to be very clear that diasporians tend to have, I'm not sure it's a healthy fear of being taxed. Maybe it's I want to be very sensitive here. But the concern that diaspora has about being double taxed or taxed is it's neighboring a little bit on a conspiracy theory. Diasporians, we're not out to get you. Okay? Let me say that again. We are not out to get you. In France, in particular, you should be particularly sitting pretty because we have a double taxation agreement with the government of France. What does that mean? It means that if you pay your taxes here, you get a credit back home. You will not pay taxes for income that is earned here, for example, on your salary, both here and at home. That is what a DTA means. You want me to repeat that? Okay. So, there exists a double taxation agreement between France and Kenya. Therefore, if you have paid your income tax for, let's say, your salaries here, you will not be taxed on the same tax in Kenya. You will receive a credit for that. If you are in France, and we are sitting right here on a boat, in France, that means being taxed twice is not something you should be concerned about. We've already taken care of that by having this treaty. Are we together? Are we together? Why am I not hearing sighs of relief? As if you don't believe me. You better believe it. Okay? So please, let me put that one to bed right now about double taxation. And I'm willing to share with you the various countries that we have DTAs with and some of the ones that we are working on DTAs with. Are we together? Okay. Very good. We've already spoken about elections and so on. We're in the process of reviewing the Diaspora 2014 policy. That policy is now 9 years old, and we've seen a lot of changes in the last 10 years as far as the diaspora profile is concerned. So it is about time that we built up and we created a new diaspora policy. We are asking you to be involved as key stakeholders, as the most critical stakeholders in that process, and we'll be sharing information about how you can do that. I want to say really quickly 3 things that you can look out for in the next few months from us. And they speak a little bit to some of the things that were raised here by the various leaders. We are working on a 24-hour response center back in Nairobi. And this will allow diasporians in distress wherever they are to be able to call home and get assistance. That 24-hour response center will have a number of different resources, including counseling, including just getting information, reporting distress, and so on. Secondly, and you've already seen some of this on the Diaspora Information Management System, we already have a number of services now available on eCitizen. You don't have to email, you don't have to call. You can do a lot of the things that you had to email, call, or walk to an embassy to directly from your eCitizen account, such as reporting the death of a loved one here in the diaspora, reporting distress, and so on. We're also working hard on an evacuation of Kenyans who are currently caught up in the hostilities in the Israel-Palestine area. These are some of the big things that we are currently working on. We want you to be involved in this dialogue. We want to keep speaking to you, and this is the reason I am taking the time to tell you some of the things that we are working on, because we want you to be a part of this journey. These things concern you, and we want you to be able to speak to them, speak to us about them, and vice versa. A part of our mandate is actually promoting dialogue between diasporians and Nairobi. I noted that some of you attended the stakeholder engagement on the draft labor migration bill. Are you here? Those of you who attended? Okay, great. I noted that some of you attended that, and we hope that you will continue to attend other stakeholder engagements, either on changes in law, changes in policy, and so on. So when we do send out this information, Kenyans in France, tafadhali msiachwe nyuma, okay? When we do send out this information, please continue to engage with us so that we can hear what our people in France are thinking about. I was going to tell you a little bit about some of the big investments that diasporians have been doing, because I really want this group here to invite us back home when you're doing a investment project and you want us to come and be there when you launch it. We've had your brothers and sisters in Ireland are launching 2 big projects. This year, one is a healthcare facility that caters specifically to children with learning disabilities and who are on the autism spectrum, for example, and other special needs. We've had the same group, a similar group again from Ireland, just launching a huge homes project, I think, in Makueni County. We've had others from, I think, the US launching an apartment project. In the diaspora, we have new branches of Swahili Village being opened in, I think it was New Jersey, and so on. And we want to hear what your projects are so that we can come and celebrate you at home when you do come to do those things. So I want to urge you to come together in groups, in investment communities, and do these kinds of projects together. Kenyans, I also want to let you know that we've been involved in the business of supporting and rescuing Kenyans who have been in distress now for quite some time. I think in the 10 months that we've been in business, we've evacuated over 1,000 Kenyans from Sudan following the outbreak of the political crisis there. Almost 100, and maybe I pause there for a minute and say that apart from Sudan that shares a land border with, apart from Egypt that shares a land border with Sudan, we were actually the first country to get people home. Let me say that again, so that you can clap for me. Our diasporians were home before everybody else, apart from the Egyptians, and hapo ni sinikuruka tu. So we have also been able to rescue almost 100 victims of human trafficking who had been held in Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, and Malaysia. We evacuated several Kenyans in distress from Lebanon, Saudi, Qatar, Albania. This particular case was a terrible injury after assault. And most recently, some Kenyans from Turkey on medical grounds. And I want to thank actually the team, some of the diasporians here in France for alerting us about the medical needs of the young woman who had been injured in Albania. We are currently in the process of evacuating Kenyans from Israel. As of yesterday, we had evacuated 11, and we continue to do that. I say these things not so much so that you can clap for us, but so that you can know that if you are in trouble and if you're in distress, we will come for you. We love you and we care about you. And on your flag, what is the thing that is in the middle? It's a what? What does that shield mean? Where does that shield come from? It's a Maasai shield. It's a warrior's shield. Okay? That is what is on your flag. It's a warrior's shield. What does that mean? Our job is to defend you. It is to come for you if things go south. Okay? Make it easy for you to come and get you, please, by letting us know where you are and register. But I want you to know that we are here for you and we will come for you. As I conclude, Mabibi na Mabwana, I want to reiterate that we are here to continuously engage with you to address the matters that are coming up, to work with you strategically, to do the things that I mentioned earlier, which are to protect, to engage, to empower, and to prosper our diasporians. And with these, before I close that, there is something that Serafina raised about a better intervention for students. It is something that we are working on. We are aware that students tend to fall through the cracks in many diaspora communities. We are working on that. And one of the tasks of the diaspora officers who will be posted very soon to the missions will actually be to look out for the welfare of students. With these few interventions, mabibi na mabwana, ningependa kusema asanteni sana kwa kufanya nini? Kwa kutukaribisha hapa. Yesterday I did an interview for the BBC, and then they switched language halfway. And then I realized I did not know what distress is in Kiswahili, and I did not know what evacuation is. So I started saying things like kuokoa na kusafirisha kwa haraka haraka sana. Kwa haya machache na mengi, ningependa kusema asanteni sana Wakenya wenzangu, na naomba tuendelee kusaidiana, kushirikiana, tujenge nchi yetu pamoja, na asanteni sana, na watakia kila heri na fanaka katika hii siku ya kusherehekea mashujaa. Asanteni sana.
Asante. Makofi ya kutosha. To go and evacuate our diaspora. That's a great job. Continue doing the same. So sahi ni wakati wa sasa wine from France for all the guests. It's time for you to enjoy our wine, our refreshments, our drinks. DJ will put some music. We're going to network. Mtachukua picha, but we are going to do it in a very organized manner. I think for the refreshments and food, we are going to start with the guests going to the kitchen, and then per table like that. Okay? So we are going to start with the guests, because we have to protect the guests, otherwise it costs. So we start with the guests and our PS, led by Chargé d'Affaires, Mildred. And then polepole tutakuwa hivi. Yes. So time to network. Nashukuru sana. DJ, Goma DJ.
Okay, basi fiksi kwanza by the time fiksi alafu sasa kwani kuna chance hivi nahitaji hii kuna hii nimeconnect lakini sasa basi fiksi haina chat nikashika kuna nini hapo mali kwa fiksi wakitandika la lakini sasa ndio gani alikuwa amepatia hiyo. Wala hamjafungua account iko live kwa Facebook ha? Wala hawajafungua account, mfungue account KCB.
Smile for the camera. Unaogopa picha? Est-ce que c'est chaud d'être chapati? C'est chaud, on chauffe en plus.
Vous voulez des fleurs, c'est ça?
Il y en a pas.
Oh, yeah.